What's up, everyone? Chris Wilson, certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. The foods of what we are to eat and not eat. So that's the question, right? And really, what is in the foods that we're eating? And so I have my CBOOK collection of medical illustrations here, the digestive system. And I wanted to show you, because I remember talking yesterday about this. So the small intestine, those little C anemone or finger-like or hair-like structures. And in the YouTube video, I'll actually put a better close-up of this. But that's where all of our food is absorbed. Whenever it's broken down into its amino acids, it gets transported, to the liver via the portal vein system, and then gets assimilated throughout the body. But its absorption occurs right there in the small intestine, and there's a lot of things that can actually go wrong. And I want to talk about when it comes to eating the right or the wrong foods. Yesterday we really talked about food sensitivities. There's a lot of things that are in our foods that can contribute to these food sensitivities and to the condition of our health for both good or bad. So pesticides in our food, the human body actually cannot metabolize pesticides, nor can the body excrete them efficiently. And this adds to the body's actual total toxic load. And this is on top of whatever you already have going on, whether you're genetically susceptible, whether you already have a leaky gut, if you've got silver mercury amalgam dental fillings in your mouth, off-gassing mercury vapor, or you're accidentally swallowing some of this mercury, that's adding to the whole overload of the bucket. So pesticides disrupt hormone balance, and actually they cause changes in gene expression. So this is how you can actually make yourself genetically susceptible. So if you remember on a webinar I did called the Triad of Health and Autoimmune, I had a triangle that showed at the top was genetics, one side was leaky gut, and the other side was environmental exposure. So when you have all three of those, it kind of creates this entire perfect storm for an autoimmune condition or a disease to occur. And the gene expression there's tons of genes in our body, right? And they all act as if they're light switches. So you can't see my light switch over here, but I'm flicking it on and off, up and down. And essentially that's what our genes do. They are what loads the gun, but it's our environment that pulls the trigger to allow our genes to express them in either a negative or positive manner. And everything has an impact on our genes, not just foods, but everything that we come in contact with on a daily basis. So, the commonly used pesticide glyphosate, the number one ingredient found in Roundup, as probably many people know and probably have seen on TV, as there's many lawsuits going on about this, has recently been declared a carcinogen by the World Health Organization. The residues of this pesticide are in many foods, not only genetically engineered foods, but they're especially high in wheat. So this is why I always recommend people not eating wheat. And I do have a fabulous ebook that you can go over to my website, upstreamvitality.com, and download that free guide for your use called Start Feeling Better Now. And I talk about the 4 foods that everybody should be getting rid of if they want to start better now on their healing journey. And those are grains, wheat, dairy, and sugar. And I can do another video on why those are detrimental to your health and how they all kind of cross-react with one another. So you have to take out all 4 of those, not just one, especially if you want to get well fast. And I can help you discover your levels of inflammation and maybe restore your energy, help you with weight loss in 30 days or less by some quick in-depth tests and removing a lot of these gasolines that are fueling your fire, or your inflammation, or your weight loss resistance, or your brain fog, or your chronic fatigue, or your joint pain. It's really simple. It really is. And we have overcomplicated a lot of things like man typically does. And the Environmental Working Group, they have a list of 12 foods. It's regularly updated each year. They just released a couple of weeks ago their 2020 Dirty Dozen list. And they're the 12 foods that contain the most pesticides, and they absolutely want you to avoid. They have another list called the Clean 15, but I don't really advocate for that one. I always advocate for a 100% organic diet as much as possible. So if you think about other chemicals in our food stemming from the air, industrial power plants or chemical plants, coal plants, and traffic exhaust, these chemicals actually settle on nearby crops and then end up on our dinner plates. We got water, we got the use in agriculture, animal feed lots. I talk a little bit about this in my ebook that you can go get for free. And then from food packaging. So food can be contaminated with chemicals contained in plastic cans and boxes. And let me see if I can share my screen here, and I'll show you a test that I ran on myself.
So this is just a snippet of the actual test. There's a lot more to it than just these
But
three chemicals.
it's a great test to measure. And I was actually really low, and it's because I've been eating and practicing detoxification for the latter of about 6 years. And because of that, I ran that organic acids test. I've also found out that I have overgrowth of candida, and it could be amongst some other things. I do have a little Clostridium overgrowth as well going on in my gut. And so I've been feeling it here a little bit lately over the last couple of days as I've been taking some supplements to help rid this and see if there's any other underlying factors that may be contributing to this overgrowth. But so I'm on an anti-candida diet, and I've been taking some supplements to help rid this, and I'm still in a fasting state right now. I think I'm at 14 to 16 hours. This really is a great way to activate autophagy, which is the cellular cleanup process that your body naturally goes through to get rid of the toxicity, the bad cellular debris, the waste products that our body naturally produces, and it gives my digestive tract a little break. And let's see, last thing before I get off here. Let's see, what do I want to talk about? I really want to talk about, okay, here's something else, irradiated foods. Irradiation can actually deplete B vitamins and fat-soluble vitamins in the food. So vitamins like A and E, your other fat-soluble vitamins are D and K. Irradiation also alters the cell structure of the food, so that making it look different when we consume these foods. And there's an international symbol that you can look up for irradiation on foods. It's like a little circle. It has like two leaves, and then it looks like a sun in the middle, or it's just a filled-in circle, but it looks like a plant or flower. And although there's further studies that are needed, consumption of irradiated wheat has been suspected of increasing this compound called polyploidy, which is a genetic condition where multiple sets of chromosomes are created in animals and humans. The FDA requires that irradiated foods show the international symbol for irradiation. Unpackaged foods such as bulk foods and fruits and vegetables are required to be individually labeled or to have a label next to the cell container. However, the FDA does not require that individual ingredients in multi-ingredient foods be properly labeled. So you got to keep that in mind. That's why it's always, best to try to buy organic or when you can, and shop the perimeter of the foods or the food store aisles as opposed to the inner aisles of the food stores where you're going to find most of your packaged and processed foods. So just to think about a little bit of the factors that affect nutrient absorption, fat in the diet. So eating a lot of healthy fats, saturated fats, monounsaturated fats, omega-3 fats. Typically the standard American diet and those who eat a westernized diet consume way more omega-6 fats, which are pro-inflammatory. And you have to have these two fats in balance of one another because the omega-6 fats are good for you, but we're eating them in an abundance in the standard American diet, which is really bad. So fat in the diet is required for the absorption of obviously fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Medications, things like antibiotics and NSAIDs and others can actually alter gut bacteria and therefore deplete synthesis of certain vitamins. They can inhibit the absorption of by knocking out nutrients from cell receptor sites and can cause excess urinary excretion before actually allowing the body to absorb them through that process I showed you on that page there. And alcohol actually depletes vitamins A, essentially all your B vitamins. So we're looking at B1, B2, B3, 5, 6, 9, and 12. It depletes vitamin K, copper, magnesium, potassium, and zinc. It decreases zinc absorption. And I have another free e-guide that I'll put in the comment section below that you can download. It's how to supercharge your immune system in 5 easy steps. And one of my nutrients on there are zinc and why it's so important for an immune system. And I talk a little bit about how things can deplete zinc or cause zinc deficiency, and also add a little bit of information of why zinc is very important to our body. And I don't think it wasn't until about 1974 75 when the U.S. had declared this to be an essential nutrient to the human body. Um, and alcohol also increases urinary zinc excretion. Tobacco is another one that depletes vitamins B1, B2, B5, B6, B9, B12, vitamin C and vitamin E, beta carotene and potassium, things that we know are very good for our immune system. And I'm going to wrap this up really quickly, but the ravages of blood sugar dysregulation, one thing that I believe is critically important to stabilize for people on their healing journey is blood sugar dysregulation, because glucose or sugar in the body, when it's dysregulated, can cause excess dietary carbohydrates, and excess dietary carbohydrates can ultimately manifest as an array of disorders, including but not limited to things like frequent illness and immune disorders, serotonin depletion, so your mood and how you feel, candida overgrowth, fatigue, dizziness, irritability, depression, anxiety, confusion and memory problems, night sweats, and weight problems. So we see that there's a lot of neurological things going on there whenever we have an imbalance of our blood sugar. And this is all in foods that we eat. And this is all how I help people identify the right foods to eat for their body in stabilizing their blood sugar, because that is one of the most, I think, number one ways that people have a low-grade chronic inflammatory response is due to blood sugar dysregulation by eating the incorrect foods for their body, but also having a leaky gut and multiple food sensitivities that contribute to blood dysregulation and other allergies and autoimmune conditions and diseases, weight loss issues, chronic fatigue issues, no energy, and just being not yourself. And I want to read you something that I had wrote yesterday on why I do this, because I think there's a lot of practitioners in the functional and alternative realm, and I think there's a lot of health coaches out there. And it's not just, I can fix you, I can help you get well, come sign up with me. No, this is why I do what I do. Everything I do stems from challenging myself and others to become better and healthier. I challenge the current healthcare or medical system in thinking for myself and teaching others how to think for themselves, not what to think, but how to think and how to take control of our lives. And I teach a holistic perspective that is outside the mainstream box of current healthcare. The way I challenge this system is through common sense. What's common sense isn't always common practice, and teaching people what foods to eat and what not to eat. Helping people get the right lab tests ran so that way they can identify the hidden stressors that are actually contributing to their health challenges. And it's a very simple process. It really is, but it's overcomplicated. And I'm here to take this very simple process that will challenge you to the core, but it's going to be so rewarding because it's going to give you a new life transformation. And I've seen this through myself and through my wife. My wife is my greatest why I became so passionate about helping people achieve a newfound respect for their lives and how to take control of health in their own lives, and really how to be their best self for their family, their spouse, how to be the best mom, the best dad, the best friend that you are, because it's very hard to do that whenever you are not confident about yourself and you don't like the way you feel because you have mood disorders, you have dizziness, you have irritability, you have depression, you have anxiety, and you've got these systemic overgrowths of bacteria. You can't be the best mom. You might lash out at your children for no reason and you don't understand why. You might be lacking in your understanding toward your spouse and not understanding why it is. And internally, you might be telling yourself, if they only knew how I really felt, but they don't understand, and I don't know how to explain it. And that's what I'm here to do, is help people understand that these chronic issues can be overcome. And so I just really want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope you found it informational and informative. And if it's helped you in any way, please share it, give it a thumbs up, and leave your comments below. And if you'd like to reach out to me, schedule a free history or a health history consultation with me. We can talk about your struggles and your challenges, and we can decide if my philosophy is the right fit for you. And you can reach out to me by dropping a comment below, or go to upstreamvitality.com, or just send me an email, upstreamvitality@gmail.com. But I want to thank you for everything that you're doing and watching and supporting me by showing up here every day. You have a blessed afternoon, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.